This week has been very eventful from a political point of view. What with the BBI, the appointment or nomination of Martha Koome as the incoming Chief Justice, the Tangatanga MPs camping in Masai Mara to make demands or to crystallize them for William Samoei Ruto. I think my viewers, my followers, have asked me to talk about all these things. Let me begin by talking about the Mount Kenya MPs who work with William Samoei Ruto. Last week I said they were standing logic on its head because I couldn't understand how a populous and a powerful community like the Mount Kenya community could allow itself to go begging to a smaller community. Some of my friends on Twitter attacked me. They said my statistics weren't quite right. Let me tell them that I was not in a classroom. You raise figures and cite figures and names to make a point. They don't need to be mathematically correct. But in any case, how wrong am I when I say that in 2022, the Mount Kenya community is likely to raise about 10 million votes? I may not be very wrong, including the GDP. Depends on how you look at it. I was just making a point. So they were standing logic on his head. Now today, as I speak, they are at the Masai Mara, and according to Kimani Ichung'wah, my friend, they are starting with the economic agenda. In other words, like they make economic demands. Then they proceed from the economic demands or agenda and they see who is best suited to actualize that agenda for the Mount Kenya region. But since they have already, in the words of Gachagua, settled on William Ruto, they cannot be looking for somebody to head the government. They cannot be looking for a president. Because even at the Masai Mara yesterday, Rigathi Gachagua says, why are people concerned with their demands on Ruto? They should take their demands to Raila Odinga, Gideon Moi, and anybody else, meaning for them they have settled on Ruto. So if they are going to make demand, if they are going to look for somebody who can help them achieve that Mount Kenya agenda, it cannot be the presidential candidate. Because that is for them is already settled. It's already William Samoei Ruto. So it can only mean, like I said last week, they are looking for the deputy or prime minister position or both. And I said, that is standing logic on its head. But what is even worse, and I want Ruto to be a little careful, the Hustler Nation has had its strength in the oneness of the nation. That unlike the Okoa Kenya or whatever other outfits, they are not regional based. They are not tribal based. They are not like Gideon, Mudavadi, Wetangula, and Kalonzo, who are bringing their tribes on the table in the One Kenya Alliance. They are national. It's the one Hustler Nation. But now, Kimani Ichung'wah, Rigathi Gachagua are now making demands on behalf of Mount Kenya region. They are going back to tribe. So they are actually destroying the Hustler Nation. And therefore, when I say the Hustler Nation is dead, nobody should blame me. Because the foundation of the Hustler was the oneness. The one class of Kenyans we were focusing on as the hustlers, as William Ruto, as UDA. Now all of a sudden, Gachagua and Kimani Ichung'wah and the rest are segmenting the country into tribes and regions. So what are they doing to the Hustler Nation? They are the ones killing it. I leave it at that. Food for thought, William Samoei Ruto. This week again, there was Martha Koome, nominated to be the First Lady Chief Justice. the First Lady Chief Justice in all our years and our history as a nation. Many things have been said. I want to dismiss the first one. I saw one on Twitter by my friend Kishangani about Mother Koome having had a degree and that she only got a pass. Please, that should not be the issue. When somebody goes to school and gets a certificate, that certificate gives him or her an entry pass into the world. It is not that certificate you hold. It is how you hold yourself, how you acquit yourself in the real world. The School of Medicine makes you a doctor and gives you a certificate. But the kind of doctor you are is not that certificate. It's how you behave and work in the world. If you are a lawyer with a law degree, it's not the law degree that is working. It only gives you entry on the bar, into the bar. The kind of lawyer you become is what you'll be. It's not your degree. It's not how colored it was. No. It's just an entry point. Otherwise, everybody would have entered the room. When you have a PhD and you're allowed to teach, it's not your PhD that is teaching. It is now you in the many of your colleagues in the academy. So that pass is neither here nor there. What is even worse, and I'm surprised educated people don't see this. Great men have done great things without what Americans call college education or college degrees. In the modern world, in the modern times, we have people like Gates, the guys of Facebook, Dell Computers, Steve Jobs of Apple, and many others. Tough generals in the world that changed the world. Never had university education. Bismarck, who changed the face of Europe. Europe is today what it is because of Otto von Bismarck. He never had a university education. He contributed towards the unification of Germany, and everything else that has happened is as a result of that. If Germany wasn't one state, I don't think what has happened in the world would have happened the manner in which it happened. Of the 45 or so presidents of the US, 12 have not had a degree. The first president, George Washington, his father died when he was young and he couldn't continue with education. James Monroe. There are many American presidents, 12 of them. There are many scientists who either did not have university education or were not trained in the areas in which they came up with their earth-shaking discoveries, including Darwin. You put on a light in your house, you switch on light. Who is the guy who discovered the bulb? My friend. You fly by using a plane. The engineers were unable to come up with aeronautic physics that will fly a plane. Who did it? The Wright brothers. So you cannot fault Mother Karua on the basis of having a past degree. No. In fact, the argument today about MPs not having degrees is neither here nor there. I don't think we should even bother ourselves with putting into our laws the requirement that someone must have a degree. There are very many people with degrees who can't even tell their right hand from their left hand. So that was a big issue, and I thought we better address it. Secondly, we should have been looking, more importantly, at the fact that that interview left a lot to be desired. A lot to be desired. So to me, it was unlikely to produce a serious Chief Justice. And look at the 13 applicants. Were they the best Kenya could give for the job of Chief Justice? Surely the best we could have, those 13. Why were people not applying? Qualified people did not apply because they know this is Kenya. And we must move away from that. They knew they would be escorting other people. If you had asked Kenyans who were their preferred candidates, they would have mentioned Lenaola, they would have mentioned maybe Odunga, and top on the list they would have brought Mombingoge. But those people didn't apply. Why? Because they know they don't want to. I'm suspecting. They didn't want to escort people because they know the establishment would have people. And back to the questions you're raising. There were two people. Ngatia was an established person. I think they thought he was too establishment. Then there was William Ouko, an insider. But why didn't they give him? I think, and I suspect, could Uhuru Kenyatta be preparing Mount Kenya to have at least one arm of government and to appease the Mount Kenya East? So that when he supports Raila or whoever it is, for the 5 or so years the Kikuyus will not be in power, they will be at least be holding on unto one arm of government. Because Mother Koome, being 61, should be in charge for the next 9 years. And you give William Ouko, who was an insider, bright, but of course not to my standards, but he's a good guy, intelligent. If Raila was going to become president, could that be a pointer? Let's leave this issue of the Chief Justice, because I am not happy with the way the interview was conducted. It was not able to bring out the person I thought could be Chief Justice. The questioning didn't quite help bring out. You have written questions. Most of them were written. The sweetness and toughness of an interview does not lie in the written question. It lies on the answers and how those answers spring other questions. Those supplementary questions are what is actually the interview. I didn't see much of that. But in future, I think we must improve on things like those. Now to BBI. I don't have much to say about BBI. I'm talking about the shenanigans in Parliament. People have said the 70 constituencies were unconstitutional. The answer is no. 290 is a creation of the politicians. The same politicians can create 360, which is what they have done. People say right, but to the point of allocating them to counties, they say is unconstitutional. The answer is no. Because how did they arrive at 70? You can't just wake up and say, I want 70 constituencies. New. You must have some basis. So the 70 being allocated to counties is part of that basis of why are you arriving at 70 and how. The details of how they will be now allocated will be by IEBC. But even then, the Constitution talks about independence of Chapter 15 commissions. That if you want to touch on the independence, then you must go to the people. It is the same people who are allocating the 70 to 20-something counties. So it cannot be unconstitutional. And finally, it is not unconstitutional as it is in Parliament. The way I saw my friend Omogeni talking about that there were certain unconstitutional provisions, and the people, especially the Wambua from, Senator Wambua from, I think, Kitui, they were arguing, how then do we debate and pass something unconstitutional? The argument is simple. Anything, any matter before the House can only be ruled as unconstitutional by the Speaker with finality. If the Speaker has not flagged off anything as unconstitutional, you cannot say it's unconstitutional. What the committee has put forward as being unconstitutional is a matter of opinion. It's opinion. Any member can have that opinion. That's why Sakaja differs with them. Opinion. That's why Irungu Kangata doesn't agree with the entire report. Those are just opinion. It can only be unconstitutional if the Speaker ruled as much. And finally, for the day, my advice to William Samoei Ruto. If you haven't gone to Masai Mara, don't go to Masai Mara. Don't go and entrench this tribalism, which you have been running away from. Very good advice this morning. You are going to Mount Kenya to listen to tribalists, make demands on you. It's tossing the hustler nation into the Indian Ocean.